today I entitled this From Zero to Boss Babe in under a few months, because this is my incredible one-on-one client extraordinaire, Brooke. And I really wanted to bring her on and talk to you guys and just share her story a little bit, because I feel like in this online space, we have a lot of like quick success stories, like overnight success stories, but we don't really get to see behind the curtain. So Brooke has done a ton in a very short amount of time and has accomplished so many incredible things. And I really wanted to share her story because she's doing absolutely amazing, but she didn't start out somewhere really simple. She didn't start out somewhere really easy. So I'm going to get her to share. And this is really cool, but Brooke started cyber stalking me. I'll let her talk about that to get into Passion to Paycheck, and then went in and just went full throttle in Passion to Paycheck, then worked with me one-on-one, like right off the gate, and did some really cool things. And we'll talk about even like, because I think it was really, really cool, your drive to even pay in full and stuff like that, even though when you started, you were on payment plans. So hello, Brooke, and welcome. Tell us about where you started and tell us about how you got started in your business and what your thoughts were before even Passion to Paycheck.
Yeah. So I feel like I have to do a little bit of a detour to 2 years ago and then kind of like speed everybody up to now. Okay. So, I am Brooke Allison. So I, 2 years ago, moved from St. Louis to Denver, Colorado, the most beautiful place on the planet. And I was in a relationship that wasn't so great. And that's really an understatement, you guys. It was very abusive in many ways. And you see me today, and this is who I am, but that was not who I was. I had no confidence. No self-worth. I thought that I was deserving of the love that I was receiving. And I thought that that's what was my life. And so, okay, long story short, went through that, left that, hooray. I really, yes, happy dance. Yay, go me. Okay. In those 2 years though, I completely rebuilt myself. I dove into my mindset. I dove into my worth. I dove into everything about how to become the best version of me, because I knew that that was going to attract better things to me and it would lead me to what I am to do on this earth. Okay. So, for the past 2.5, almost 3 years, I had my own business with Mary Kay. And I loved the company. The company is an amazing company, like phenomenal, love them, love them, love them. In everybody else's eyes, I was so successful. I was in the top 5% of the company. I was 2 seconds away from earning my first free car. Like I was becoming the top 2%. Like it was, yes, but I never really felt successful. And like it was that time that I was just feeling like I was doing everything wrong, that what the heck is going on? I'm doing the same work that everybody else is. And why isn't this happening for me? And it's so funny because because of Mary Kay, though, is the reason I got involved and introduced to this coaching world. I pampered this woman who also had her own business, and she was like, "Are you in these Facebook groups?" And I was like, "What's a Facebook group?" Like, no idea what a Facebook group is. So she introduced me to these Facebook groups, and that is then how I found Danny. Because Danny then posted about her manifestation challenge and how she manifested like around $2,000 to buy her new laptop in about a week. And I was like, I need that. Because you guys, here's the thing. Here's where I was. I'm a very hard worker. I'm very determined. I'm very like motivated. I'm a dreamer. I've always been a dreamer. And I couldn't pay my bills. And my parents, I had to call my parents every month and say, I am short this amount of money. Like, can you please send it to me? Like, I am so sorry. Like, I will try to pay you guys back eventually, but like, how was I going to do that if I wasn't making any more money? Nothing had changed, but it wasn't like I was just sitting on my ass doing nothing, you guys. I was working really hard and I was on food assistance. But that was embarrassing, but I cried happy tears because I was able to eat food when I was accepted. I was like, oh my gosh, I can actually like eat. I can eat. And it was like, a lot of people still don't know that because it was embarrassing at the time. And I financially was in no place like that is not an understatement, you guys. Like, I did not have any money. Like, I couldn't even afford my bills. I really thought that this September, when my lease is up at my apartment, I thought I was gonna be moving back home because I didn't see how anything would be changing. And okay, so pops in Danny, pops in her, I think I joined one of her like webinars. And I was like, what's a webinar? Like, clueless to the online world, you guys. And I was like, that sounds so cool. And I just fell in love with her. Like, I literally, when I reached out to her, I was like, can we just be friends? Like, I just want to be your friend. And honestly, that's where it started. And so she was launching Passion to Paycheck. And I was like, okay, like, I don't know what this means. And I remember thinking in my Mary Kay business, like, maybe I need a coach, like maybe I need something extra, even though it's built into the system, but I wasn't feeling the love that I desired to be feeling. And so I took this leap, and instantly I was like, oh my God, I think this is exactly what I'm meant to do. And it's funny because I didn't have the money, you guys. Okay. Like I literally did not have the money. And it was so weird because that month, because I had been praying for like, months, like, what is it that I'm here to do? Like, help me get into my calling. Like, what can I do to impact women's lives all over the world in massive amounts of places? And this came into my life, and I was on payment plans at first, and I was like, Tanny, I can't pay these. Like, how can I do this? Like, how can we make this work? Because I want to make this work. I'm determined. I'm dedicated. How can I do this? This is what I've got. And we made it work. And then I literally paid my payment for the course. And that month, I paid all of my bills by myself. And it didn't make any sense. Like, logically, it doesn't make sense. Like, logically, nothing changed financially in my life. But I was able to pay all of my bills. And I took that as I stepped into my calling, and this is what I'm here to do. Shortly after, I was like, I love this course, but I love you more. So let's do what I want.
That's so good. And I have a super quick question. So like when you say like, and I think this is something that comes with a lot of people teach manifestation. A lot of people teach energy, a lot of energy work. A lot of people teach this stuff. But it's not like you were like, oh, I'm just going to put out this cash and then literally like just sit on my butt and not implement any goals or not do any work. And all of a sudden everything changed. And it's like, talk me through like literally where you were at when you invested, because you were so dedicated in implementing everything. I even remember if you had troubles with something, you would talk about it. If you felt like you were struggling something, you could come to me like, and it was never that you made me the be all and end all, or you never made the course the be all and end all, but these tools you implemented in your own way. So talk me through kind of like signing up for the course and getting the first module and then what that was for you.
Yeah. So, okay, here's the thing is that I'm a very high, like I'm an achiever. So I like to get shit done, but like, so I knew stepping into this with this investment, I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. I'm not just going to sit around and not do it. I'm not just going to, like I couldn't imagine actually doing this course and not actually implementing the tools that I received. And I think that's where the difference is that I have a goal, I have a big why, and I was like, I'm ready to run. And at the time, this was the perfect landing point for me to run because I felt like I was at a stopping point with my other business. And then instantly, with implementing the tools that we were taught, I instantly felt like this is my calling. This is what I'm here to do. So then I was like, well, if this is what I'm here to do, I'm ready to take this seriously. And let's work one-on-one together, because that was going to be the more accountability. And I just loved you. And I was like, let's be friends, be my friend. And then I was like, but perfect. So I was like, okay, I don't know how to make this work. Financially, you guys, like financially, my life did not change overnight. Okay. Like I was like, okay, but here's how I saw it, because I don't like people telling me what to do. I like things being in my control. So I was like, okay, I have good credit. So really, if I get another credit card, it's just going to better my credit because I know eventually I'm going to pay it off. I know that I meant for so much more. So I'm not worried about how I'm going to pay it off in the long run. I just know it's going to be paid off. So I got a credit card and I paid in full because I had control of the payments. I didn't have someone telling me you have to pay this amount every single month. And I was like, no, I want to pay what I want, you know? And so, you know, to become my surprise, I was able to pay a lot more than I expected very soon after. But I loved the idea of paying in full. So that way it was done. And then I could do what I wanted with that, with a 0% interest credit card. I think that's the most brilliant thing you can do. Because it's so important to like, and I've always known the importance of investing in your business and investing in yourself. Because if you, and it's all in your expectations. I expected to be successful right off the bat because I was doing this. I was doing this thing. And so I was gonna do it.
And I love that. Like, I talk about that in a different way where I'm like, you got to get to the point where you're like, I'm not fucking around anymore. Like, I am done. You have to, like, your comfort has to be nothing compared to your calling. So it has to get to the point where you're like, I'm not fucking around anymore. I'm going to make this happen. Like, it's going to happen. I remember you coming to me and being like, hey, no, like, I don't know how I'm going to make this payment. And then you're like, the next day you're like, okay, I'm just going to make sure that I can pay this in full. Okay. And then like a week later, you're like, okay, can you just like invoice me from the total? Cause I'm like, I'm not messing around anymore. I was like, yes, because it's so funny because you did that with the payments, but you did that in your business. And I strongly believe that how you show up in your life is how you show up in your business and how people are going to show up for you. And people started finding you so quickly. And people started like latching onto your energy so quickly. And I remember like after a few things where you're like, yeah, okay, so you're telling me to be visible in the online space. Okay, I'm going to do it my way and I'm just going to show up. Like, I'm just going to do it. And I think that was a ton of your success was showing up and doing it.
Yes. And it's funny because at this point now, almost every single day, someone says something along the lines of your energy is so contagious. And I'm just like, this is just me. This is who I am. And that's awesome because I love that you can be authentically you. And that's what's great about starting your own business and just being you. Like, who cares what everybody says that you need to do? You don't need to do any of that stuff. And that's what I loved about you in this course and working with you is that you were like, well, do what feels good. And I was so used to doing all the things that people told me to do because I thought that was going to make me successful. Because remember, I wasn't feeling successful. I did not feel successful within my heart, within myself until I started my own business and I ran after what I wanted. And then I literally sat and was like, this is literally the answer to everything and to my dream life and to where I want to be. So powerful. Such a powerful feeling. And amazing things happen. I mean, I don't know if you want me to talk about the quick things that kind of happened.
Like just, yeah, I want to know about like everything and all the major shifts. Cause like the first thing I remember you telling me that was like a major accomplishment, you messaged me and you were like, I'm so scared that I have to go back on food assistance. And I was like, well, okay, let's dive deep into that. Like, let's think about that. And then it wasn't even like a week later where you're like, oh my God, I think this is the first month that I can pay everything on my own. Like you were so worried about, it's not like you didn't have any fear and you're like, all of a sudden everything is rainbows. It was like you had the fear, but your faith was stronger than your fear and you tapped in and you're like, this is what I'm afraid of. But then I was just there to like guide you a little bit more to be like, yeah, but is that ultimately true? And you're like, well, no.
I think the ultimate thing is that you helped me step into who I'm truly meant to be, whether you realize it or not. And I think that I was holding back a lot because of the things that were said to me in previous experiences and what people had said and how I felt like I wasn't good enough. That was a toxic thought that was in my head and I knew I needed to transform that. And so, no, things weren't easy at first. These are never easy. Being an entrepreneur is an emotional roller coaster. The hardest thing is the six inches between your ears. And that's why I love helping people get a hold on that, just to start recognizing it, because that's going to benefit you in every aspect of your life. But at the time, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to pay this. That's why I figured out how to pay in full, because that released pressure from me. That felt good to me because I was like, I can do that. And then I'm in control. And then it was crazy. I mean, I was ready to work fast. And I think that was the difference is that, and I could have taken my own time. And that's the thing is that everybody's journey is their own journey. Doesn't need to be any guilt or any like, oh, but look at what so-and-so's doing and look what so-and-so's doing. Like who cares? You know, like, I get it, you guys, because I did the same thing with my business with Mary Kay, with my MLM business, with my direct selling, because that was duplication. Whereas this, you literally just are on your own journey. You move as fast as you want to go. Mm-hmm. And I think for me, I had the enough is enough moment in business and in my personal success that I was ready to run fast.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I remember launching my Facebook group and 200 people in the first like 36 hours joined my Facebook group. And that's just because I shared what it was going to be about. I like made a cute little like dance with me. Like, I don't know. I'm just weird. That's just who I am. And I have dance parties. And that grew. And then that grew in the first 2 months over 600 people. Around 600 people. I don't know, something like that. And then I remember I had two one-on-one clients the same day. Like they signed up in the same day. And I remember thinking at one time, oh my God, am I ever going to have any clients? Like, oh my God, like, is this really going to work out? Like, what if I made it? Like, because, okay, there's a new devil at every new level. So we always have like these negative thoughts that are like, your brain is trying to protect you. And so, but it's like recognizing that that's not true. This is my calling. I'm powerful. I am so bold and powerful, and people need to hear me, and I need to step up so that I can help others along the way so that they can let their light shine, because I decided to do it first.
Yes, I love that. And talk to us a little bit about, because here's the thing too, is first when you started, I think this is the coolest part, is that you're like, but I don't know what I'm going to teach. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm good at. What do I even say? And I was like, Brooke, like everyone has their own journey and story and experience. And it wasn't until we were like, okay, let's dive deeper. Like, what are you good at? And you're like, I don't know, Danny. Like, I just don't know. And I'm like, okay, let's work through this, because everyone is so good at different things. Like everyone thinks, oh, this person's a business coach, so I should be a business coach. Or this person's a this coach.
Oh, yeah.
And we talk so much about that, about like, is things that aren't necessarily tangible going to be successful? And I was like, well, why the fuck not? Right? Like, why not? Who says that a confidence coach can't be as successful as a business coach? Who says a business coach is more successful than a holistic health coach? Who decides that? No one. It's just who you are and what you bring to the table. So explain to me like the transition, just so everyone knows. From you going from like, I have no idea what I'm doing or how to build this into a business. I don't know where to start. I don't know what like to do with my hands. Like, what do I do to where you are now? And explain your title and explain what you help women with.
Yeah. So, well, where I was, and I think it goes back to all the things that had been said to me and the experiences I was experiencing. So like I said, I wasn't my true, genuine self. I was hidden. I was like, in this little rock, and I had to like break through it. That's like the best way to describe it. It was like a vellum that I had to like dig out of, because I was scared and I had been wounded and I had been hurt a lot. And I had missed goals over and over and over and over and over and over again. But what I always knew was that I was unstoppable, because my dreams were big enough, and I wasn't going to let little things stop me in my tracks, because no, like, what else am I going to do? Like, So where I was is like, I remember like, this question, and I always ask, my girls this question too now, is that, who are you when you feel like you're youest? And I cried, because I was like, I don't freaking know who I am. I don't even know. I don't even know what I like anymore. I don't know. I don't remember how to have fun. Like, I just don't know. And it was hard. And that sucks, because I wanted to know who I was, and I wanted to know who like my true purpose was. And I was like, I don't know what I'm good at. Like, it was funny. I knew I was good at things, but I didn't really know how to hone in on my skills to help people just yet. And that's what's great about working with someone one-on-one is that, you get to have that connection. You get to dive in deep and be like, okay, what is this actually rooted from? Where did this come from? And so then I really got clear on, okay, what is it I'm here to do? Well, the first thing that came to my mind was confidence. And it's because I truly believe that I am an expert in growing your confidence, because I went from that extremely abusive relationship that had control of everything of me. He had control of me, and I left that, and I was at below zero. Like, that's not a joke. I was low. I was really low. And I'm sure I hurt a lot of people along the way because I was sad and I was angry and I was frustrated. But I knew that wasn't who I was meant to be at that time, which is why I did everything that I did. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I know the exact steps I did to get to where I was, to where I am now. And I know I can help people if they implement these tools. If they implement it, they will feel the same result. And so it's funny that you say that, because when I was thinking about my title, I was like, I don't want to do all these things that everybody does. And I was like, everybody's a mindset coach. And I was like, that's stupid. My hair is pink, you guys. I do what I want, right? And so I was literally like, okay, I'm going to go by my first and middle name, Brooke Allison. I love it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be a mind shift coach. And I was like, because I want to help people shift their thoughts, focus on the positive, and actually dig into what's holding them back and focus on what could actually happen for their life. So I wanted to shift thoughts. So I wanted to be a mind shift coach and an achievement strategist, because I love helping women feel like they're empowered, achieving. I want them to feel powerful. I want them to feel bold. I want them to be happy dancing all over the place because they fall in love with their life. And it's funny because that hasn't shifted. That's still accurate, but my purpose within my business has shifted from when I started to where I am now. And because now my focus has shifted into helping people design a business and a life that they're madly in love with and build their confidence along the way, so they know that they're a badass, and step into their true self to design the life they desire.
So. And I think what's so cool about that, just because I know the backstory and a little bit more of the journey, is that we went from a place where you would come to me and you were like, well, this person's doing this, and this person's doing this, and this person's titled this, and I don't like that, and this person's doing, and I said, well, stop looking at everyone else's stuff. I was like, stop, and what are we going to do with you? And that's when you were like, mind shift coach. And it was so cool how it was like a light bulb. The minute you started, stop searching outside yourself for the answer and looked inside yourself. That's exactly when you're like, unstoppable is my word. That is my word. And it's become something that's so core in your brand and your business. And I think that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs forget, is that you have all the answers. You are your source. You are literally the source of your power, of your answers, of your success. Everything else is just a tool. And there's things and experiences, like you said, that leave you clues of where you're meant to go. I started my whole business as a health coach, teaching women how to not be unhappy at their job and not binge eat. And that kind of led me to where I am right now, which is completely different, but it's all the same. And for you, in Mary Kay, you helped people feel confident and beautiful all the time. And you're doing the same thing, but now you're doing it from the inside out.
Right. Yeah, it's just different. And it's funny because my brain was so embedded with, well, what is so-and-so doing? Why are they passing me up? Well, I'm doing way more work than them. Why isn't this happening for me? And it's part of the reason why I wasn't, as successful as I desired to be. But, stepping into this, I remember you calling me out because I didn't even realize that I was comparing myself to others. Because I was like, oh, that's cool. Look what they did. You're like, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. And I didn't realize, because it didn't feel negative like it had in the past. It didn't feel like a bad thing, but I was still looking all around me rather than, you're right. I truly believe that we have more inside of us than we even realize. We have way more inside of us. We know more than we think we do. It's just digging that up. And that's what I needed to do. And I needed some nudges along the way, which is I help people do now. I've always been, here's another thing I think with success is that I've always been a person, if you tell me to do something, I'm going to be like, okay, all right, let's just go do it. Like, I really don't want to, but all right, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to suck it up. I'm going to put my big girl panties on and I'm just going to do it, you know? And I think that's why I love like stretching my girls out of their comfort zones, because I know that it's only going to benefit their life. It's with like the loveliest love in the world that I do that, but I'm like, okay, just go do it, you know? Luckily I've been kind of trained my brain to do that. But it's funny that even when I started something new and you're like, oh, you need to go do this, I was like, but then I was like, okay, I'll just suck it up and do it, you know? And I think that's the mentality people need to have is, you know, you're guided for a reason. You stepped into this for a reason. You hired someone for a reason to better your life, to better your circumstances, to get into your dream life. So actually implement the work that has been said to do. Just actually do it.
And own that you took that step in the first place too, because it wasn't that you took the step to get like immediate success and all of a sudden you're like, it's like you don't buy a lotto ticket to win on the day that you purchase that. There's still like some stuff that has to happen. And it's not like if you lose, you're like, oh my God, this lotto ticket has ruined my life. Like you go in and you invest in yourself and you take a risk and you take a chance on yourself, but it's you that gets to decide if you win or not. It's you get to,
absolutely.
You get to decide if you are successful or not. And all it is a decision. Because even for prior to me doing what I'm doing right now, there was a year and a half where I wasn't getting anywhere, just like you were mentioning, even in your business. Like everyone else saw me as successful. So I was on the leaderboards, I was on everything. And it was like, but I wasn't doing number one, what I was, I think, meant to be doing. Number two, I was trying so hard to win the approval of the people ahead of me and to surpass them than I was to ask myself what I actually wanted.
Yes.
To simply live a life of freedom.
Right. And I think that's very accurate, because I think once I started the Passion to Paycheck course and actually like dove into it, and once I started working with you, honestly, like I think that, and I don't know what would have happened if I would have just taken the course, because the course was amazing. Like I was like, this is awesome. But like working with you was like a whole new level. It was like a whole new commitment. It was a whole new deep dive. Like, okay, my roots are here. Like I'm gonna do this. And what were we just talking about? I lost my train of thought.
That's okay. I have something to say about the like course too. It's because you like when you invest in courses, you knew what you needed support wise to get where you needed to go. This is something too, is that I always tell people, I'm like, well, what support level? Take the money out of it.
Right.
The money is just an exchange of energy, whether you're paying $3 or whether you're paying $3,000. It's an exchange of energy. And that's you showing up and putting your money literally where your mouth is to do what you want. But if you take the money out of it, what is the support that you truly desire? What is the level that you need to be at? Where do you need to go? And who do you need to plug into, to tap into, to get where you want to go? And a lot of people will be like, oh, well, I don't want to invest in a coach because I want to invest in this course because it'll still get me the same results. But they might feel like they need so much more support, and all of a sudden they feel like a number because they're in a self-study course. Like, listen to yourself. Absolutely. And ask yourself, what is the support level that I need? And if you are committed, I always say that, like, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. If you're not like, hell yes, this is possible for me and this is what I need, then it's a no, and just honoring yourself. But a lot of people will be like, hell yes, until they realize it's not truly what they needed. And I think you were really good at being like, okay, I'm at this level with this self-study course. I've tapped into Danielle in this private group, but I want more, and I know I need more to get move forward. And you're like that with a lot of things too. And it's really good because you're very self-aware of what you need. And I think that's one of the pieces of you growing so quickly is you're like, this is what I need and I'm going to get it. It's the same with me. Like, that's why I've tapped into different coaches. Even right now, I remember you're asking me, you're like, oh, are you working one-on-one with this person? And I was like, well, no, because that's not what I need right now. Because I know I would waste that time, because right now I'm in such a place where I need to, it's like I'm doing a self-study on myself. And I just like to have someone to tap into. And eventually when I'm ready to tap back into someone else, I'll go forward. But with you, you're so good at knowing that.
Right. And you're so right. And it's like, I totally could have just in the course. And I'm sure I would have had great success from that because I had the intentions of running after my dreams. However, you're so right. I knew I needed that one-on-one support. I knew I wanted that love because I'm a love and connecting person. Like I was like, let's build a friendship. Like I wanted that deeper root in accountability and support and love and guidance. And I was like, okay, it's either now or never. There's never going to be a good time. If you would have sat and like looked at my situation and like you would have been like the voice of reason in my head or like standing on my shoulder or something, you would have been like, Brooke, that's a really bad idea. Why are you doing that? It's probably not going to work. You're probably going to fail. And look at all this money you're spending. And then you're just not going to like ever make it back. And like, ugh, like that makes me want to throw up. Yeah. Stupid. Okay. But if you would have looked at my situation, that's what the voice of reason would have said because they're like, you can't even pay your bills. How are you going to expect to do anything with this? And I was like, no, because your purpose, your calling, your, stepping into that is way more important than your current situation and what has happened to you. It's way more important. And I knew that. And I knew that I needed that love aspect to heal what has been broken inside of me before. That I couldn't heal on my own and move forward to run because I knew that this is what I needed to do.
Totally. And one thing too that I think is really important is that one thing that you did come into it with too is like, I'm going to make enough money to pay my bills. You were like, this course is everything and this is going to pay everything and this is going to do everything for me. And I'm so excited, just like step back and drink a martini and like that this course do everything for me. Like you were like, I am going to make this work. I'm going to implement the steps. You're so good at diving into every single module, even like with our one-on-one work, you always come, I should say, because we're still working together, but like you always come to each session with like so many questions and so many things that you want to work through and so many, like you show up and then we work through it and then you step away and you implement and then you come back and then you tap in when you need to. And there's some days that I know that I might not hear from you for a couple of days because you're doing stuff and then you'll come back and check in and you're like, you're so driven to make your dreams successful. And I think that's so incredible.
And I think it took being in the right avenue to actually see my dreams as a possibility. Because for a long time, they were my dreams. And I was like, I want to freaking travel the world and just do whatever. After living in Austria, years ago, I was like, I have to go back. And I just never really saw that. Like, it's like, yeah, that was my dream. And I was running after it the way that I thought I knew how. But it wasn't until I stepped into what I see as my calling and what I've actually put on this earth to do that I was like, holy cow, like this is actually going to be my reality before my eyes. And then I get to help all these other women make that their reality too. And that like, that I'm such a lover. That like warms my heart. Because I'm like, it fuels me. That pumps me. That's what gets me up and excited in the morning because I know I'm here to do big things, but not just for me. It's for all of them. It's for the legacy that I'm going to leave.
I love it. Oh my God, this has been such a good conversation. I love it. So one thing that I would love for you to tell everyone about before we log off here, and then we'll stay on for a little bit, but I'll like shut down the live stream. I would love for you to tell everyone, where can we find you? Where can we hang out with you a little bit more? Like, tell us all about what you have going on.
Yes, come hang out with me, you guys. My Facebook group is booming. All right, so I'm Brooke Allison. You can find me at Brooke Allison Coaching. Of course, that's my business Facebook page. However, I am Fiercely Unstoppable Entrepreneurs. That is my Facebook group, Fiercely Unstoppable Entrepreneurs. So definitely get in there because it's so much fun in there, and I go live all the time. So if you love my energy and you love what I've been talking about, that's what I do all the time, you guys. And so again, I'm a mind shift coach and an achievement strategist. So I help women up-level their confidence within themselves and in their businesses to truly become unstoppable.
I love it. And she's incredible. So go follow her, go find her, go hang out with her. She's amazing. I've spent like the past almost 5 months with her. and it's amazing. So go hang out with her. And thank you so much for sharing your story and coming on live and speaking your truth and just always showing up to the world and showing up for the people who need you.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks for all that you do. Love you.